Hello and welcome to today's video lecture of Object-Oriented Programming using Java with the paper code CS504A. This is Shayani Chandra, Assistant Professor of Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology. Let's look at today's lecture contents. So today we will be learning about methods used in any Java application programming. As we have already discussed in our last lecture that methods are normally used in a Java program and the code that are contained within the method bodies are generally they operate on the instance variables that are already defined inside the class. We have already discussed about how the instance variables can be declared inside a class and how those instance variables can be accessed from outside of that class or from another class using the object of that class in our previous lecture. Today we will be learning about methods, how the methods actually look like, what are the general syntax of the method, how you can use a method inside a class, what are the different types of methods, and lastly we will do some example programs using methods. So to begin with, we can say that methods are normally those codes which will act on some data or variables, data that are contained within some variables, more specifically instance variables. But methods not only work on instance variables, they also work on local variables that we will see in our today's lecture. So let's begin with the general syntax of a method. So let's see how the general syntax of a method looks like. This is how the general syntax of a method looks like. Here you can see that this is the method name. You can give any name of your choice, or you can also choose the name according to the function that the method is performing. Like say if you are doing some addition program and if you want to write down the code of addition inside a method, then you can name the method as add or sum, or you can also give any other name of your choice. Now the type here defines the return type of the method. We all know that the functions that we have learned in C or C++ languages are known as methods in Java. So we have already a basic concept of functions and how the functions can be used, what can be the form of a function in C or C++ languages. So the same concept we will be learning today, that are known as methods in Java. So you have already learned about return type of a method, or the return type of a function in C or C++ languages. So the same return type goes here also in case of a method. Return types can be any kind of primitive types that are available in Java, or the return types can also be a class type. So we will see gradually how a class type can be used as a method return type in Java application programming in some next lectures. Today we will be seeing how the primitive types can be used as a return type of a method. So this is actually the return type, this is the method name, and after the method name we have to use a pair of opening and closing parentheses. Within this pair of parentheses we can write down parameters if it is a parameterized method. Parameterized method function also you have learned in C or C++ languages. Here also the concept is same. If we want to pass any parameter to a method, then we can write those parameters inside the parenthesis of the methods. Here also the same concept is applicable. After that a brace is started. This opening and closing method braces mark the this opening and closing braces marks the method block, and within the method block we will write down the code that are the method codes actually, that are method bodies actually. So those codes will operate on some data. Those data should be contained in some variables. They can be local variables, or they can be instance variables, or they can be anything else like reference variables also. In our last lecture we have seen that a class was there where three variables were there, three instance variables were there, and we have seen how those three instance variables can be accessed from outside that class, from another class which was the main class, using the object of that class. Let's take that example. In order to implement the concept of methods, let's incorporate a method also in the class A. This was the previous day's program into which we have added a user defined method show. So this is the class A, which contains three instance variables. All are of integer types. The three instance variables are A, B, and C. Then we have added a user defined method show. It looks like just like the general syntax that I have just described. This void is the return type. Return type void means that this method will not return anything. The name of the method is show. You can give any name to this method, but here inside this method I just want to print the values of these three instance variables A, B, and C. That's why I have given the name show. After that, a pair of opening and closing parentheses are there. Inside the method body, we have just printed the values of A, B, and C. Remember that in the previous program, when we wanted to print the values of the instance variables A, B, and C, in that program we wanted to print the values from here. That means from demo2 class, from main method of demo2 class. As this was a different class, because the instance variables are of a class, are a class members, and we wanted to print them from demo2 class, which is a different class. That's why we have used object of the a class to access them. But here you can see that we have not used any objects in order to access them. We have used them directly, because the show method is within the scope of a class, and the three variables that we want to print inside the show method are also the members of the a class. That means all the three variables as well as the method show, all are the members of the a class. That means all are encapsulated inside a single class. So the encapsulation property works here also, as all the four things, the three instance variables and the method, all are encapsulated into the inside the same class A. That's why we don't need to use any object in order to access them, because show is a member of A class, and the three variables that we want to print are also the members of the A class. That means we want to access the variables A, B, and C from inside A class, and they are the members of A class itself. So we don't need to use any object in this case, because all the four things are encapsulated inside the same class scope, which is class A. Now inside the demo class, there is the main method. Inside the main method, we have created an object of the A class. OB is the object name. Using the object, we are passing values 10, 20, and 30 into the copies of A, B, and C that have come into the object OB. Then using the object, we are calling the show method. Remember that show method is a member of class A, and you want to access this show method from inside the demo2 class, from inside the main method of the demo2 class. So you want to access the method which is a different class member from inside a different class. That's why you have to use the object name, and then the followed by the dot operator after before this name of the method in order to access it. So if you write ob is the object name, then the dot operator, then the method name, after that the pair of closing and opening and closing parentheses, this will call the show method. So this will actually call the show method of a class. That means the program control will be transferred to this show method. Whenever this show method is called from here, the program control will be transferred to this show method body, and inside it we have printed the values of A, B, and C. That means this statement will be executed then. So this is how this program works. Now let's compile and execute the program to see the output. So this is the output of the program, which will print the values of A, B, and C, which are 10, 20, and 30 respectively. Coming back to the program, here we can see that the three variables are being assigned with three values 10, 20, and 30. These three values are being printed if you are calling this show method from here using the object of this OB class. So this object of this OB class, which is object of this A class, which is OB, is used to call the show method. So whenever this statement will be executed, the program control will be transferred to the the A class, and this method will be called, and this method will be executed even. That means whatever code is written inside its body will be executed. In our program, only this system.out.println statement is there inside the show method body. So only this statement will be executed. That means the values of A, B, and C, which are 10, 20, and 30 respectively, will be printed on screen. And that's what we can see as output on screen: 10, 20, and 30. So this is how we can add a user defined method to a Java program. Now let's see another program using a simple method which will give you two different outputs if you are using two different objects. This is how the program looks like. This is the A class, and these are the three instance variables of integer types of this A class. And this is the show method of this A class, which will print the values of A, B, and C. This is the main class demo3. This is the main method. Inside the main method, we have created two objects, ob1 and ob2 of the same class A. Using the object ob1, we have passed values 10, 20, and 30 into the copies of A, B, and C, which have come to the object ob1. And using another object ob2 of class A, we have passed three values 3, 6, and 9 to the copies of A, B, and C that have come to the object ob2. Now using the ob1 object, we are calling the show method, and then again using the ob2 object, we are calling the show method. So when we are calling the show method using the ob1 object, this will actually call the show method of this class, and the program control will be transferred whenever this statement gets executed to this show method of the A class. And whatever written inside this body of the show method will be executed. In our program, only the values of A, B, and C are printed inside its body. So the values of A, B, and C that have been assigned using the object ob1 will get printed first, which are 10, 20, and 30 respectively. Then we have called the show method again using the object ob2. This will also call the same method show of the A class. So this statement will also call the A class method show. Now, whenever this statement will be executed, the program control will be transferred to the show method of A class, and whatever code is written inside its body will be executed. That means the values of A, B, and C will get printed. The values of A, B, and C, which have been passed into the copies of A, B, and C using the object ob2, are 369. They will get printed in the next statement, in the next line. So this program will give you two outputs, 10, 20, and 30 in the first line, and in the next line it will give you 369. So let's see how the program will be executed. As I just explained, the program will give you two outputs, 10, 20, and 30, then in the next line 3, 6, and 9. So this is how the general structure of a method looks like, and this is how a simple method can be added to a particular class. Now we will see the different types of methods that can be used in a Java program. This is the simplest version of the method that we have just shown. The next one is a method that will be returning some value to the main method, and the last one that we will discuss today will be a parameterized method. This is a program that demonstrates the use of a method, a user-defined method that will return some value. I have done the same program with a user-defined method that will return an integer value. This is the A class, which have these three instance variables A, B, and C. And this is the user-defined method show. And in the previous example, we have given the return type of this show method as void. In this example, we have given the return type of this show method as int. That means this method would return an integer type value. Now this method will return to whom? It will return its value. The value of A into B into C will be returned to the main method. That means this method. Or the value will be returned to its calling method. That means this show method should be called from a method. In the previous example also, you have seen that the show method has been called from inside the main method using the object of the A class. That means in this case, the calling method of the show method is main and the called method is show. The method that calls another method is known as the calling method, and the method that is being called by another method is known as the called method. So in this program, main is the calling method because from inside the main method, we are calling the show method. Here the call is being made. And we are calling the show method. That means a call is being made to the show method. So this show is the called method. So whenever this method will be called from the main method, this method will return an integer value to its calling method. And what will be the value? The integer value that will be returned by this show method is the value a into b into c. Now from inside this main method, here is the statement where the call to the show method is being made. Inside the main method, we have created an object OB of this A class, and we have taken another variable R which will hold the returned value A into B into C. Then using the object OB, we have passed the values 10, 20 and 30 to the copies of A, B and C that have come into OB. Then using the object again, we are calling the show method. So whenever the statement will be executed, the program control will be transferred to the main, to the show method. That means here it will go, and inside the show method, whatever code is written will be executed. And here the code is written, here the code that is written is A into B into C, and a return statement is there. So the value A into B into C will be returned, and returned to whom? To return to the calling method, which is main. And the value that would be returned is an integer value. That's why the return type is given as int. So the value will be returned to where? To the main method. So now inside the main method, you have to catch the value and you have to store it in order to print it. So the R variable is taken to do it. The R variable will hold the value of the return, hold the value of the returned value A into B into C into it. That's why we have written R equal to OB dot show. That means the value will be returned here. Here, the highlighted portion, the value will be returned to this highlighted portion, and that value will be assigned into the variable R. Then when we are printing the value R, it will give you the multiplied value, that is 10 into 20 into 30, that is 6000 would be the output. So let's execute the program to see the output. Here you can see that 6000 is the output. One more thing in this program, without using this R variable, we can directly print ob.show also. In that case, the value will be returned to this portion, the highlighted portion, and directly this will give you the value 6000. If you want, you cannot store the value, just as I have done. I have taken a variable R and there we have stored the value 6000. If you want, you can store this returned value to a different variable, then you can print the value of that variable. Or if you want, you cannot store the variable, you can directly print ob.show. In that case also, this will give you the same output. So I'm making the changes here. I have commented this line also. And here I have written the call to the show method directly. Now let's see what is the output. See, the same output is being displayed, which is 6000. That means in our program, in this manipulated or modified program, we have not taken any variable that will store the value, the returned value A into B into C. We are just directly using the ob.show method call here inside the system.out.print statement. That means the returned value A into B into C will directly come here into this highlighted portion, and that will be printed on screen. If you want, you can store it in another variable like R that I have just done. here in this program that I have commented now. And if you want, you can directly print it too using the call to the method here inside the system.out.println statement. Next, we will learn about parameterized method. As we all know that a parameterized method or a parameterized function, as you have learned in C or C++ languages, it is a type of method that will have some parameters inside its parentheses. So the parameters are known as local variables. We have already learned about variables, local variables. Local variables are those which are written inside a method body or inside the parameters of a method. So here in this example, you can see that I have taken the same class A, which contains three instance variables A, B, and C, each of integer type, and there is a user defined method show, which is a parameterized method, and this method will also return an integer value. And these are the parameters of this method: x, y, and z. All these parameters are of integer types because the data type of all these parameters are also int written here. So these x, y, z are also variables which are known as local variables because the parameters of a methods are treated as local variables, as well as the variables that we declared inside a method body are also treated as local variables. In the previous program, we have taken a variable r in order to hold the returned value a into b into c inside the main method, which is a local variable. Here in this program, using this x, y, and z variables, we are just assigning them into the instance variables a, b, c. So what we are doing inside this method show is we are assigning the value of x into the instance variable a, we are assigning the value of the parameter y into the instance variable b, and then we are assigning the value of the parameter z into the instance variable c. Then we are returning the value of a into b into c to the calling method. Here also the calling method is main method. Inside the main method, which is written inside the demo4 class, we have created an object ob of a class type. And here you can see that we have directly made a call inside the system.out.print statement. That means we are not holding the returned value of a into b into c into another variable. We are directly giving the call statement inside the system.out.print statement. That means the returned value of a into b into c will be directly, it will directly go here, and then it will directly get printed on screen. Here we can see that inside the parameters we are passing the values 10, 20, 30. That means this 10 value will be passed into the parameter x, this 20 value will be passed into the parameter y, and this 30 value will be passed into the parameter z. Here it will maintain the sequence. That means this 10 value can never go into the parameter y. This 10 value will always go into the first parameter mentioned inside the method parenthesis. Similarly, the second value 20 will not go into the variables x and y, z. It will always go into the parameter y, which is mentioned just after the first parameter or as the second parameter inside the method parenthesis. Similarly, the last value 30 will never go into the parameters x into y. Instead, it will always go into the last parameter z, as mentioned here as the last parameter. So these values will be stored into these values respectively, and all of them will maintain the sequence. So after this 10 value is stored into the parameter x, whenever this show method will be called from inside this main method, so a call to this show method will be made. That means the program control will be transferred to this show method. Inside the show method, whatever code is written will be executed. Now we will see that the 10 value has passed into x. Then inside the show method, we can see that a code is written where the value of x will be assigned into a. That means the value 10 will be assigned into the variable a. Similarly, 20 value has been passed into the parameter y, and whenever this show method has been called, inside it, the program control will find that there is an assignment statement of value of y into b. That means the value 20 will be assigned into the instance variable b. Similarly, the value 30 will be assigned into the instance variable C, and then all the values will be multiplied. That means 10 into 20 into 30. That means it will give you 6000, and the 6000, which is an integer value, that's why the return type is int. That value will be returned to the main method, and it will be returned to where? It will be returned to here, where the call is being made. Into this statement, the returned value will come, and directly it will get printed on screen, because we have not taken any variable that will hold the returned value. So this program will also give you 6000. Now let's see the output. As I just mentioned, the output is 6000, as we can see. So this is the program that is demonstrating how a parameterized method can be used inside a Java program. This method is also an example of a method returning some values. So this method is basically a combination of two types. That means a method that will return some value, and also it is a parameterized method. So in today's class, we have learned about what are methods, what are their uses, how a method can be added to a class of a Java program, what are the different types of methods, and we have also seen some example programs using methods. Let's look at a last program which will demonstrate the working principle of a method inside a class of a Java program. So let's look at the last program of today's lecture. We will just demonstrate the concept that uh, the methods or the user defined methods that we will use inside a class will not only work on instance variables, but they can also work on local variables. So this program will just print the value of the squared value of a number. Here we can see that the square is a user defined class. You can give any name to this class. Here this square is a method, and this square method will give you the squared value of this parameter I, and this is the return type of this method, which will return the value I into I to its calling method. Now this value of I will be supplied to this method from inside the main method. So the calling method here is also main method, and the called method is this square method. Here we can see that the square method is working on this parameter or on this local variable. Here we have not taken any instance variable. That means the methods that we will use in our program can not only work on instance variables, but they can also work on parameters, or more specifically local variables. In some later lectures, we will see that they can also work on reference variables. So here this I is a local variable, and inside this method body we have written return I into I. That means whatever value will be passed into this parameter I, that will be squared, or that will be multiplied with this value itself, and that multiplied value or the squared value will be returned to its calling method, which is main, and that value will be an integer value, because we are passing an integer. So an integer multiplied by another integer will give you an integer value itself. So this is the main method, which is written under the demo 5 class. So this is the main class, and this S is the object that has been created of this square class. And here we have written the system.out.println statement, and inside the println statement we have called the square method using the object of this class, which is S. This S is the object of square class, and this square is the method of this class. So we are calling this square method, which is the member of this square class, using the object S, which is the object of this class. And here we have passed the value 5 into the method. That means this 5 value will be passed into the parameter I. Whenever this method will be called using the object, whenever this call to this method will be made, the program control will be transferred to this square method at once, and whatever code is written inside its body will be executed. That means the code which is written inside its body will multiply the value of I, which is 5, with the value of I again, which is 5. That means this multiplication will give you 5 into 5, 25, and the value 25 will be returned to the main method. it will be returned to where? It will be returned to the statement where the call is being made, and that value will get printed on screen, because that value will be concatenated using this plus after this statement will be printed on screen. So this program will give you an output which will give you the squared value is colon, after that a space will be displayed because the whole string has been written within double quotes, and after this space the value of 25 which has been returned to here from the square method will be displayed. So let's see the output of this program. Here we can see that the output is there. Here we have compiled the program. This is the execution statement, and the value that is being shown is the squared value is colon, after that a space, then 25 is being shown. So whatever value we are passing here, if we are passing here 2, then it will give you 2 into 2. Whatever value we are passing here will be multiplied by this value itself, and that squared value will be returned to you, that will be printed on screen. So this is a program which will demonstrate, which is giving you a squared value as output. So this is a program to demonstrate the use of parameterized constructor, parameterized method, as well as a method which will return some value. And here you have also seen that method can work on instance variables as well as on the parameters or local variables only. They will not only work on instance variables, they can also work on the parameters or the local variables only. This is it for today's lecture. In the next lecture, we will see that how the constructors are used. I have already mentioned this constructor term a few times when explaining how an object can be created and what is the inner meaning of the object whenever it is created in memory. In the next lecture, we will see a detailed look of the constructors and how the constructors can be used. What are the advantages of using constructors over the methods in a Java program, and what are the different types of constructors available in Java. Thank you for listening to today's lecture. See you in the next lecture.